It seems that inflation is finally under control, but is the cost of living crisis over? Hi, I'm Daragh from bonkers.ie, and in this video we're going to take a look at why you may still be struggling financially. Inflation fell below 2% in August for the first time in over 3 years, according to the Central Statistics Office, and in September inflation fell to just 0.7%. But prices remain high, they've plateaued at a high level and even continue to increase in some areas. So here are 6 reasons why you're still feeling the pinch in your pocket. Between July 2022 and September 2023, the European Central Bank hiked interest rates aggressively to try to rein in inflation. Although the ECB has now started to reduce rates, a customer with, let's say, 200,000 remaining on their loan over 10 or 15 years will still be paying around €300 a month more for their mortgage than they were around 3 years ago. For those with variable mortgages, your repayments didn't go up nearly as much because the main banks didn't pass on the full ECB hikes, but your rates are still around 0.5 to 1 percentage point higher on average than they were a few years ago. So this means someone on a variable rate with AIB, Bank of Ireland or PTSB is still paying around €50 to €100 a month more for their mortgage compared to a few years ago. Energy costs more than doubled following the outbreak of war in Ukraine, and despite recent moderate falls, electricity prices are still around 70 to 80% above where they were only 3 years ago, while gas prices are still close to double previous levels. This means households are still paying around €900 a year more for their gas and electricity than they were until recently. Over the past 3 years, food prices have risen by just over 20% in total, and the price of some staple items has risen even more. For example, a white sliced pan has risen by almost 25%, 2 litres of full-fat milk went up almost 30%, as did half a dozen large eggs, a pound of butter rose by over 30%, 500 grams of spaghetti rose over 35%, and a kilogram of onions rose over 40%, so not insignificant price hikes. Households are now spending around €20 to €25 extra a week on their food shop, or almost €1,300 a year. And food and non-alcoholic drink prices are still going up, just at a slower pace. Inflation in the grocery sector is currently running at around 2% a year still. Are health insurance premiums ever not rising? The VHI hiked its premiums by an average of 3.5% at the start of October, which comes on the back of a separate 7% hike in March. However, these are just average price hikes across all VHI policies. Depending on the type of plan you're on, the increase could be even higher. And Leia Healthcare, meanwhile, is increasing its premiums by an average of 6.5% from October, following a 7% hike in April. So come this January, when most policyholders renew their plans, many families could be looking at paying at least €200 a year more for their health insurance. Despite recent reforms at bringing down the cost of personal injury claims, the cost of car insurance has begun to creep up again in Ireland. Car insurance premiums are currently rising by over 10% a year, meaning the cost of the average car insurance premium is now around €50 to €60 higher than last year. Insurers blame a big increase in the number of damage claims by motorists, as well as more costly repairs to cars damaged in accidents. However, premiums are still lower than they were in 2020. Keeping ourselves and the kids entertained has also increased significantly. Streaming services like Spotify, Disney+, YouTube Premium and Netflix have all gone up in price significantly over the past few years and continue to go up. Disney Plus has increased in price from $10.99 to $13.99 a month. Spotify just went up by another €1 to €2 a month, depending on the plan you have, while a family YouTube premium plan has gone up from $17.99 a month to $25.99 a month, a 44% increase. A family with all 3 subscriptions will now be paying over €150 more a year than they were a few years ago. Recreational and sporting activities and after-school activities are also continuing to increase by around 5 to 6% a year, as anyone with an active child will know. The inflation crisis appears to be over, barring another energy crisis. However, the cost of living crisis isn't over just yet. Prices rose considerably in Ireland over the past 3 years, and although wages also grew, they didn't grow fast enough to match the big increase in inflation, hence the pressure some households have felt in their pockets, particularly lower income households, which spend a disproportionate amount of their money on food and energy, which both increased above the rate of general inflation. But with inflation now largely under control and wages still growing, the outlook is better. But as we've explained, costs are much higher than a few years ago, so it will probably take another 2 or 3 years of low price growth and low inflation, along with moderate wage growth, for households to recoup the loss in purchasing power that they've experienced over the past 3 years. With prices still on the rise, it's more important than ever to switch and save on your household bills. And the good news is that we can help you save hundreds on your bills in just minutes. Whether you're looking for cheaper energy, faster broadband, a higher savings rate, better insurance cover, or a lower mortgage rate, we can help. So switch and save on bonkers.ie today.